Love, please watch it tonight, tomorrow, all of next week.
Yeah.
Streaming on Hulu.
Yes. Review it, please.
Letterbox, whatever you need to do.
Rotten Tomatoes, all of it.
Arsema, thank you so much for your spectacular performance in this film. You captured a very human experience. And for those watching tonight, could you please, just a brief description of the film?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that I would describe this film, it's the re-envisioning of Black romance in this beautiful, elegant, classic way. It's about love without our struggle or our trauma being the main character. It's about two really funny people who find each other.
And a lot of us, when you all watch it, if you haven't already, will be able to relate with your character, Molly. I would love if you could just give us a bit about her, but also what did you have to go through to embrace her?
Yeah, I mean, I think the beautiful thing about Molly is she's so representative of Black women and the struggle that we have to go through, the fact that there is this stereotype of us as being strong, and that's what she seems like, but you realize that it's all part of this massive facade that she feels as though she has to hold up in order to have control over her value. So you see her kind of deal with an illness, and I was just talking to the writer and my co-star yesterday about the fact that this illness is such a metaphor for, in my opinion, misogynoir. The fact that she feels as though she has to hide it, it's this thing that's kind of eating away at her. And it's only when she's able to fully be vulnerable and be naked and accept herself for that way that she actually is able to engage in the full quality of life.
Love that. And with her sickness, I was thinking a lot about how this passage of time in the film, and would love to just hear your thoughts on how time can shape our understanding of love and commitment.
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like there's something about time being one of the beautiful aspects that like makes love this ever-changing, versatile thing. Like the way you love someone today doesn't have to be the way you love them tomorrow. And by giving people the space to be able to meet them every time, each different version of themselves, to get to know somebody every day as if they're a new human being, I feel like that's what love is this constantly flexible, beautiful, necessary aspect of living.
Absolutely, yeah, the film captures how human beings we are to be evolving, we're ever changing. I mean, the characters are flawed, and yeah, let's talk about the radicalness of just seeing these characters who want to be perfect but are struggling to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I don't know. We were talking about this behind earlier, but I feel as though the way that I was raised, especially being a Black woman, it was as though I had no option to be anything other than perfect. Because if I was not perfect, then I was opening up myself to whatever horrible aspects of society wanted to come into my life. And so you see Molly, who is this beautifully flawed woman, and yet she is still deserving of love. And I think that's a beautiful thing to sometimes see. You see her lie, you see her be dramatic, and I think the fact that Frank still loves her is, to me, something very, very revolutionary to see. That you can just come as yourself, and that is enough.
Absolutely. And with that in mind, I just want to hype up the Black women in the room.
Yes, please. You guys, a hand of applause. It's tough out there.
When we often discuss strength and resilience and the burden that Black women carry. You know, if we think about the title, She Taught Love, can we talk about Black women embodying a divine essence, love, kind of goddess-like power, and speak for you and Molly as well?
Yeah, I think the whole part of the title, I remember when I saw it and I was like, why does she have to be the one to teach the love? And Daryl, the writer, made a really interesting point about like, when I think of the person who taught me love, who is that? And I'm like, oh, it's my mother. And he's like, yeah, I think a lot of us don't realize that we learned to love from Black women. A lot of it. And so I think there's something about honoring the fact that she is in the title. You know, it's not he learned love, it's not Frank and Molly. I think it's this beautiful reminder to look at the women in our lives, look at the femme people in our lives, and thank them for the love that they have shown us, because that's, in my mind, that's kind of where it comes from. It comes from the people who have had to carry society, who have had to bring life, who have had to step in the shadows of somebody else. It's selflessness. And when I think of selflessness, I think of women.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we hear Black love, I mean, that could be so many things, and the film does exactly that. Molly's father's in it, her mother's in it. Can we talk about what it's like fostering communal love and just how important that is?
I think that's what the love in the title is about. I think sometimes we always think of love and we think of it as romantic, something between two people, and I think that is such an oversimplification of it. There is something so palpable about the love of a community, of a people, and specifically then talking about Black love, it's something that is so radical that we've had to compartmentalize it as something else other than love, you know? And so when I think of that, it makes me realize that our love is something, it's born out of somewhere else, but it's just as important as all types of love.
Yeah.
And to see her relationship with her father, a relationship that doesn't get to be shown on media that much between a father and a daughter, I think is amazing to kind of showcase and put at the forefront. Because then you realize that Molly also taught her father how to love. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know playing Molly was a therapeutic experience for you, for the audience and the artists in the room specifically. Would love to hear your thoughts on the interconnectedness of self-love and creativity and identity. What rings in your mind when I say those words?
Oh, I think of imposter syndrome. I remember when I got the role, I did not think that I was deserving to be leading it. I thought that I would be in the background for a very long time because that's where I deserved to be until, you know, whatever movie or story comes along. And I realized that I had to allow myself to love myself, to realize that I was deserving of the love, to realize I was deserving of having my story told in order to then be able to tell the story.
Absolutely.
Or else I would have been faking it.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much about Molly that I was able to give back. I shaved my head for the role. I moved to LA for the role. And so I think there's something really beautiful about sacrificing for something you believe in, something larger than yourself. Yeah. I think that is also love. It's a very encompassing idea.
For anyone here today maybe struggling with that self-love, can you share a bit on what has gotten you through, what allowed you to get through the role? What has been some of your ideas of your coping mechanisms and your support system and therapy?
I mean, therapy has been a big part. I think calling on my mother and my sister has been a massive aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Prayer. Honestly, I think when you try and relearn how to love yourself, you realize that you're going up against a larger system. It's not individual versus individual in that fight. It's individual versus a very, very powerful external structure. And so I had to call upon something larger than myself. Yeah.
Could you have predicted? I mean, my assumption is that you're not sent scripts all the time that are this kind of character, Molly.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been grateful to get one script after the other of really amazing women. Lady Danbury was such a beautiful, she's such a strong woman.
Yeah.
And then to get the blessing of playing another strong woman.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled.
Oh.
I'm spoiled.
Let's keep it going, though.
I know.
Yeah.
But this is to say that, like, there should be more of this content.
Absolutely.
There should be more people writing these characters and creating these stories and shifting the landscape so that the rest of us don't have to go to work traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah. We are so much more than our trauma. Yeah.
Our trauma is the thing that other people did to us. There's so much more.
Yeah.
So much more.
Yeah. So if you just need something lovely for the palate, please check out She Taught Love on Hulu.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks.